Indeed, with 4 or a few more days to go, a few more days to go to the close of this month of February 2023. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd day of the second month in the new year. As we prepare from different, locations, politically, socially, morally, physically, to, conduct our electoral processes in Liberia. We want to say a pleasant good evening and many thanks for joining us tonight. Many thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Emmanuel Davis, welcoming you to yet another presentation of Issues of Today on VOL 104.1. So I know most of you now leaving town to go to your homes. The traffic is a little tensed, little tensed, especially in Sinko, and of course the Liberia-Japan freeway. So we want to say thank you so much for joining us. To all of our taxi drivers, please take it easy, and the guys riding the kekes. Actually, they are tricycles and also the motorcycles. And so before 6:30, we will talk about some of the trending issues in Liberia. 6:30, we will go to our international decks to speak with our correspondents tonight on the program. On the flip side of that time, we have other issues coming up. My name is Emmanuel, and sincerely we want to say we might not be able to, conclude the show tonight. When I say conclude, meaning we will not go the full time, due to some technical problems here. We will try to handle that. Our guys are in studio as we speak, trying to handle those technical issues. So we're hoping to end the program before time, and then the guys will work before the time of news. We hope that those works will be done for the news to come on. So many thanks. Let's take a buzz of our theme song. When we come back, we start business. Many thanks for rejoining us on the program Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia 104.1 FM. My name is Emmanuel. So we want to again welcome you to the program. Well, the people responsible to tell us, the statistics house responsible to give us or to conduct, national housing and population census has come up with, not the final statistics. It was released, and the number we have as the estimated, still estimated, it is a provisional result released by Legis. 5.2 million people in Liberia. So it's a good news. It means that our population is growing. We are making progress. Folks, those of us in the business of, bearing children or bringing forth children, we want to thank all of you, and to some of the folks leaving different countries to come to Liberia, we want to say thank you as well for, helping our population to grow. And of course, Montserrado, I'm trying to get the statistics. Montserrado still tops all of the counties, the rest of the 14 counties, Montserrado, number 1. And of course, I was telling one of my colleagues on today, I'm hoping that the growth we're having in our population, I'm hoping that, we can try to match that with development, match that number with growth, match that number with everything positive for the number of people in our country. It is 5.2, probably it will be 5.3 or 5.4 million people. But that number is still small. Other countries, they are in 100 plus millions. But for us, we are 5.2 at the moment. So until the final results are released, we hold it as it is at the moment until we can get the final result from Legis. So many thanks to all of us, for those of us that were counted, and some were complaining that the enumerators did not reach their places. I don't know how true is that. I cannot independently confirm or deny whether it happened, but for the matter of fact, I'm very sure that Legis covered all of the other counties. Let's quickly go to another matter here. The House of Representatives has passed the 2023 budget in the tune of $794.5 million US dollars. And we have an increment of 16.5. So I will read few lines from the front page of the Front Page Africa newspaper this evening for us to know. Some of us, I know we are in Montserrado County, but we don't have access to internet. So for those of you who don't have access to internet but listen to the radio, let's provide the information for you as reported by other media institutions, including the Front Page Africa newspaper. And it says the House's plenary decision to increase, remember I said 16.5 million increment. So the decision by the plenary of the House of Representatives to increase the approved 2023 national budget followed a recommendation by the House's Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance after it collaborated with its Senate counterparts for a 3-week public hearing into the draft national budget. So this was passed on yesterday, Tuesday, and they voted to approve the fiscal year 2023 draft national budget. Remember, our fiscal period has has changed from January 1 up to the close of December. That's our fiscal period. And that was passed to conform, to other fiscal periods in other countries. So the House of Representatives on Tuesday voted to approve fiscal year 2023 draft national budget in the tune of $794,532,682, an excess of US 16.5 to the version submitted by the executive. The plenary decision followed a recommendation by the House's Committee on Ways, Means, and Finance after it collaborated with its Senate counterparts for a 3-week public hearing into the draft national budget. The committee said the figure was derived following hearings which were characterized by rigorous budget debates. In these debates, the committee reported that ministries and agencies were given the opportunity to defend their draft proposals. Remember, at the House, I have the video, hope to play the video for all of us. That's the audio. I will play a portion of that audio where legislators, especially from the lower house, had issue with the passage. They call it the 4G or the 5G passage of the fiscal tool. Yeke Koluba, Representative Yeke Koluba, and other lawmakers were seen as changing, words because some differ. They said there was actually, no due diligence done in the passage of the budget from the lower house. So, in cases where there were doubts and insufficient information, the committee said it divided itself into subcommittees to ensure that hearing intently looked at the programs in detail so as to ensure value for money. Let's look at the breakdown quickly. On the amount, of the amount of US 74.5 million US dollars, the largest chunk, which is US 295,620,939 goes to compensation. Exclusively, this is the largest chunk of the budget going to compensation of employees. Wow, that's a huge amount. 2 million plus going to employees compensation. US 118,656,601.83 subsidy. Wow. US $4,946,554. That's for subsidy, and grants will account for $95,984,313. We hope that this breakdown will subsequently be explained, because the budget is a law when it is passed, and obviously, automatically, it becomes a public instrument, a public document. So we're hoping that this document will be made available, where we will call the economists, we will call our technicians, the technocrats who understand the graphs, who understand the numbers, to explain to us. But I was just, passing through to inform some of us that the lower house on Tuesday, yesterday, passed the national budget in the tune of $794,500 794,532,682, and there is an excess. You know, the past fiscal period we heard of excess in the budget or surplus, but Liberians were still crying they couldn't access cash, and the economy, though to a certain level, was stable, but yet people were crying, the marketers were complaining, even the workforce, they were also complaining. So with an excess of US 16.5 million to the version submitted by the executive, we hope that it will have a trickle-down effect, okay? So that's it. Shortly, we will go across to speak with our correspondents on the program. Issues of today on Voice of Liberia. And another paper here is reporting whether things have fallen apart. Things have fallen apart. This is a question. Things fall apart. Two of Buakai's loyalists in Lofa County senatorial battle. I see the photograph here on the front page of the Independent Probe newspaper. Former Superintendent Galakpa Kotiman declares intention against incumbent Senator Zygo. Well, I'm hoping that in Lofa County, because we all know Lofa is a traditional county, no matter what happens, especially those that still hold to the tenets of the tradition in Lofa County, they will settle some of these political differences. I don't want to call them call it a dispute. They are just political differences. There are people that we know that really obey their tradition. But at this moment, I know things are shifting. On the other hand, things are shifting politically in Lofa County, because I think the people want tangibles. They want to see roads network. They want to see electricity going to their county. They want to see development. They want to see pipe bomb water. They want to see good health systems, education to be improved. Basic social services should be, provided on the timely note. So to a greater extent, tradition will take place. Tradition will play its own part in Lofa. But the reality stands that people of Lofa County want development, like any other county want development. Let me just chip in quickly. I don't know, I can reserve that about, the opposition community, where you have Buakai. The other time I was reading one of the articles when the former vice president held a meeting with executive members of his party, and he told them that, he was now rushing to pick a running mate. Though in the past election, 2017, the former vice president picked his running mate 3 months to the conduct of election. So it was very hard. It was a tough decision for the former vice president, to have chosen or to have selected his running mate. But let's reserve that for later, because it's already time for us to go to our international desks and speak with our correspondents this evening on the show. We're hoping that, Victor, I hope the internet is set and the other guys are not giving us a problem from that side. Yes, please check it up before we can go to the lines to speak with our correspondents this evening on the program Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia. So we take this short break to make sure that we don't experience the problems we were experiencing yesterday on the program right here. Let's take a short break to be right back on the program.
Amawara ba you be one what to it, yes to it. Get to put a bar you do what to it, what to it. Go Saki Kuruma, Swamper Varian, what I hear. I'm a Saki Kuruma, Swamper Varian, what I hear. I be here to come and Kora, who sees a Korean. I be here to Buku Kora, who sees a Korean. Abi yürüyen tetere kuisi ya no wadiye. Abi yürüyen tetere kuisi ya no wadiye. Anongriye, oh libose. Anongriye wayo,
Welcome back to Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia 104.1 FM. From Liberia. My name is Emmanuel Davis. So now our next segment is our international desk. Now we have our correspondent on the line. The first draft of the manual for the technology of pregnancy implantation in the country, that's Tanzania, is expected to be available within the next 4 days after a special team under the Ministry of Health started the work. This comes as a result of a national reproductive challenge for women and men in Tanzania. Likewise, the official guide is expected to be available within 1 month after the stakeholders reviewed it and gave their opinions, said Lubando joins us on the line from Tanzania. Good evening, said.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you too.
Why did Tanzania decide to, start using this technology of pregnancy implantation?
Of course, it's just very impressive about this, and I can say that this month, the Minister of Health, said that the country Tanzania does not have a fertility policy, and instructed his ministry to create a task force that will involve the private sector to prepare a policy on the issues. So now, about this week, the Domenico, one of the gynecologists, this is yet the doctor that who deal with that implementation of that pregnancy, say that there is a reproductive challenge for men and women. So the technology is coming to restore their smile because the results have been seen. But also, he said that in these days, the workshop organized by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with them, they started to handle this challenge of infertility for female, and it is currently great in Tanzania. And despite the absence of official statistic, but it is estimated that about 25% of families are going through this challenge. So according to this, I got a chance to speak with the Dr. Dominic for another time, but he said that the guidelines will help the service providers to know what criteria they should have. And for now, we experience that Muhimbili National Hospital will soon start providing the service. So this is just the one of the agenda in our country now.
Well, has the society shown the need for that technology at the moment?
Of course, not much than it was expected. But when I refer to the head of the reproductive system unit from Muhimbili National Hospital, Dr. Matilda Ngarina, said, although there are no official statistics, but the need for this service in the country is great. and that there are some institutions that have already started using the technology, including Muhimbili National Hospital. But he has not noted that they have decided to join the government in order to get a good guide, because the need for this service is great. So the guide will make it clear about the dispensaries that are unqualified and incapable of providing that service. But also, I was speaking with the citizens. They say that this system will greatly save people's mileage, but most of them have complained about the high cost of that transplantations, which is said to be from 13 to 15 Tanzanian millions, so which is a lot of money for people. They cannot afford it.
What is
so
its
the
equivalent
discussions
in US dollars, maybe, if you know?
Yes.
I was asking what is the equivalent of that 15 Tanzanian money in $1 million in US, sorry.
In USA dollars, it's about it's about, I mean, 1,000 about $1,000.
Wow.
That is very, very, is just not affordable for that is, and the people blaming about this. It's starting from that 1,000, I mean, to 2 and approximately to 3. So that is very, very, very high cost for the people that they blaming about it.
So, like you were in speech, like you said, you spoke with some of the people, most especially female. What did they say to you?
For the female, for them, it's just this technology. They say that it will help them because what they expect is to get that children. So you know that everyone is just expecting to have that child or children. So when he cannot get or she cannot get it, it's just a problem. So most of them, they're just happy. But for the men, they're coming to that problem of the cost. So the challenge is that. So there is, I mean, two different opinion about this. The women, they just agree with it, and some of them, they have already starting to be practiced about it, about this project. And I asked this the doctor. He told me that in this month they are going to do this issue for the almost 10 women. They are going to be implanted about this project.
Thank you so much for filling us in from Tanzania, said.
Thank you too.
Tanzania, our correspondent from Tanzania said Lumbando in conversation with us, speaking about the first draft of the manual for the technology of pregnancy implantation in that country is expected to be available within the next 4 days after a special team under the Ministry of Health started the work. And this comes as a result of a national reproductive challenge for women and men in that African nation. We go now to the Gambia to speak with our correspondent this evening on the show. Okay, welcome back to Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia 104.1 with me, Emmanuel Davis. Well, the Gambia Immigration Department has requested for a special budget allocation from the government as the institution remains one of the leading contributors to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Despite its significant contribution, the GID leadership revealed that its department is the least resource agency under the Ministry of Interior, while noting that GID as a growing institution requires more budgetary allotment. To talk about this, we have Amadou County on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me once again.
Why do you think the Gambian Immigration Department is making such requests from the government?
Well, I think apparently the Gambia Immigration Department is making such a request from the Gambia government, considering that, as you have just highlighted in your preamble, that it has realized that it has been one of the main contributors to the government consolidated revenue fund. So, despite making such a very important contributions, the department felt that they have become one of the less resourced department in the Ministry of Interior, and this has become a concern. And if you look at how they operate, they are of course one of the busiest institutions under the Ministry of Interior. So I think they might have realized that maybe other departments of the same ministry might have been much more resourced and considered to some quotas, and leadership, considering they have a good number of people under them, so they would have realized to at least come out and inform the authorities as to how.
Hello. Again, reconnecting. Okay.
So
Amadou, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was saying, I think this has been the main reasons why the immigration department is coming out now to inform the authorities about their concerns, because, like I said, being one of the main contributors of the government consolidated fund, and realizing that maybe other department under the same Ministry of Interior are now, of course, being much more resourced and maybe receiving big budgetary support. And the leadership might feel it is important that they come out and inform the authorities about their concerns.
Has there been any response from the authorities concerned?
Well, the revelation or their concerns were revealed during a media briefing over the weekend. So since they have came out to outline or to talk about their concerns with regards to the support that they have been receiving from the government, we are yet to hear any official response, not either from the Ministry of Interior or the minister himself, or in fact, or any other relevant authority as far as they are concerned. Their concerns are raised. So I think even if there is any response, it might be officially or internally, but not publicly done as of now.
Tell us a bit more about the Gambia's immigration department, considering its vital role it plays in the country.
Well, I think that is a very interesting question again, because if you look at the Gambia immigration department, earlier said that they're one of the contributors, and their responsibilities are very immense. They are deployed all over the country, and of course, they issue government, or should I say, the country's national documents, and responsible for other migration issues in the country. So they absolutely, one can say they are a very fundamental pillar in the government security sector as well, if you like. So I think the immigration department is an institution that needs very good support from the government, considering the contribution that they make to the government. But if you look around and see sometimes how their staffs or personnel have been struggling to get to work, or when after work how to get home, is sometimes very, very challenging. So I think these are some of the things apparently more or less why the authorities at the GID now are raising these concerns. But generally, I think the immigration department in the Gambia has been doing a fantastic job, but they have not been one of the much supported institutions. Of course, other sister departments also have been struggling, but I think the immigration also have a lot more issues to be addressed by the authorities here in the Gambia.
Thank you so much for filling us in from the Gambia, Amadou.
Thank you very much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Okay, Amadou County speaking with us from the Gambia this evening. Let's now cross over to Lesotho and speak with Poloko Mokhili. Poloko, always on the line, always ready like our other correspondents to give us news from Lesotho. So you're listening to Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia 104.1 FM. Well, yes, Poloko is now with us, an international research organization from the United States of America has ranked Lesotho the least safest country in Africa and the third least safest country in the world. The organization study compared a total of 192 countries worldwide in terms of their safety, using each country's murder statistics as a measure. To tell us more about this development, we have live on the line Poloko Mokhili. Poloko, a pleasant good evening and thanks for joining us here in Liberia.
Good evening, Sekou and the team. Thank you very much for having me.
Tell us more about the security situation in your country, Lesotho.
Oh, thank you. Lesotho, like many, perhaps many Southern African countries, you'd say is slightly safe. However, what we have been experiencing lately, maybe from 2014, is that there has been some sort of stability, mostly caused by the tension between the politicians. So the killings that are made to ordinary politicians, not ordinary citizens. And in most cases, you find that it is either because of revenge or they are after something. So mostly it's either politicians or business people. But the citizens are quite living normal lives.
So what action has the head of government, who happens to be the prime minister, taken?
Last week Friday or Thursday, the prime minister made a televised national address to the nation stating that he has set up a force made up of the police, the army, and the national security services to ensure that they are all over the streets of the country, especially the capital city, Maseru, to keep everything in order. So what we have been seeing recently in these days, and from that day when he made the televised address, we have been seeing armed forces, the police and the army on our streets. And you could say maybe slightly crime has decreased a bit, because you have never had reports of people being killed or crime or people stealing from business shops.
What about tourists? Is Lesotho a safe place for tourists or other people who want to come and experience your country?
Oh, thank you very much. This interesting question. Yes, I think at the moment I can say safely that the tourists are safe, and because we have never had any reports of any incident happening to tourists. So yes, I can say that we are 100% safe. However, I can safely say that perhaps maybe the government still needs to do more, especially for the tourism body, to ensure that tourists are safe. They need to promote Lesotho in a better way, because this report has perhaps tarnished the country's image. So they still need more to ensure that people need to be given confidence that this is a safe country.
What does this report mean for a struggling African country like Lesotho?
Oh, thank you. This means that Lesotho, perhaps I must say that Lesotho is a very small country, and indeed, like you said, it is struggling. So this means that one, it's either we are going to lose tourism, our tourism development is going to go down. Two, secondly, our international partners are going to lose confidence in the country. So this means this is an acid test for the new government or the government of Lesotho to ensure that security in Lesotho is very tight and the killing stops. And now this is now up to the government through the security forces, meaning the army and the police need to do, and they have a lot of tasks on their job.
What are citizens telling you? You are on ground. I know you've been able to speak with some of the citizens in Lesotho. What are they saying?
The citizens are putting their hopes on the government, but they have also been calls for the commissioner of police to be removed, because they are saying he has been there for a very long time. He was appointed in November 2017. They are saying he's not doing enough, because most of the things that should be done, this is mostly the job of the police to stop crimes. But this means that if the prime minister saw the need to bring in the army, it means that the police need to do a lot of work. So they have been calling for the removal of the police commissioner. So we wait to see whether indeed he will be removed.
Thank you so much for giving us detailed information concerning this development in Lesotho.
Thank you very much.
Poloko Mokhili is our correspondent from Lesotho. What a terrible information. Well, I mean, when surveys are done, you have to accept the result, especially when it comes from a credible institution like the one we are speaking of. It is actually the institution is called Liberia-VOL. It is based in the United States of America, and that institution has ranked Lesotho the least safest country in Africa and the third least safest in the world. I'm very sure Liberia was also captured, so we will find means before we come here on the next edition of Issues of Today. We will tell you the ranking of Liberia in that report, because Liberia is also on the continent of Africa. I know somehow, some way, somehow, Liberia was captured. You are listening to Issues of Today on Voice of Liberia. Well, our last correspondent, we are not able to get to her from Nigeria, Naomi Kubenda. We are hoping that she will compile a report and send to us this evening on the program. So let me come back to what I was saying shortly. I'll open the phone lines and then we can talk about that. It has to do with the opposition community. Most often when you ask members of the opposition whether they are actually a confused group of people who are yet to understand their role, or who are yet to put themselves together, to put their broken pieces together and come to the national discourse with one mind. Some would tend to say you, or they will brand you, they call you names. The others say you are a part of the ruling establishment. But some of us, we're not bothered, because even folks from the ruling establishment, when they do appear on our platform, we tell them exactly what they've been doing. We ask them the hard question, and they themselves too will also brand us names. So I mean, I think there is a balance there, because everyone will say you are for this person when you are, saying certain things that are happening. So let me say one thing. Most of the interviews we've had on this show, we've asked our guests or even people who call from the opposition community, what is your main focus? I've interviewed on 2 occasions Daniel Sando. I've interviewed, we've interviewed on 2 occasions as well, Anthony Ase Jackson and other people from the opposition community. One key thing they've been telling us is we want a united opposition to defeat George Weah. We want an opposition that will unseat democratically, politically, legally George Weah. Aside from that, they don't say anything beyond that. I thought the debate would be we are forming a united force in the opposition community to unseat President Weah because he's done this, and this is the platform we are bringing. These are things we intend to do. But the owner said George Weah has failed. I mean, you prove me wrong now. I will open the phone lines later on and you will call and tell me. Because it is on the platform, based on your platform, that the people will feel convinced or convicted to elect your candidate. But if you just come with one focus to say George Weah has squandered resources or he's not prosecuted corrupt people in his government, or he has failed to live up to the promises like maybe the Bali Island that he promised the people, okay, yes, you can point to that. You want to talk about the coastal defense project he spoke of, you want to speak of that as well. Other stuffs he talked about, they're yet to happen. He made several promises, over 200, and yet most of those promises, yes, granted. Let's accept that at the face value. But what do you bring to the table? What do you have to offer the people as an opposition community? What are some of the things that you have done to convince our electorates? Because some of these people who we talk to every day, they are moved by the tangibles. They want to see certain things happen. What are those things? What can you say? What are your achievements? Because the argument we've heard over the time has been, or is, because it still lives on, is, but we don't have the willpower. We need the power. We need power before we execute. We need power before we do this. But in the face of that, opposition is government in waiting. So what have you done in your little closet to prove to someone that, look, this man is a private citizen, though a politician, opting to be president or senator or representative, but this man has done something in our backyard that tells us that he's ready to show us his readiness for the presidency or the seat. What have you done? What do you bring to the table? Every day we just hear, we want to unseat President George. We are democratically. We want to do this. We want to do that. But the fact of the matter is, tell me, what's your blueprint? What do you bring to the table? What do you offer to convince me? Because that is not tangible enough for you to tell me that, look, I mean, we just want to. That's how it appears in the public. That's how it appears. I want you to prove me wrong. Yes, prove me wrong today. Say, Emmanuel, we've said this. Maybe you haven't heard it, or maybe blah, 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 blah. I will give you the opportunity, open the phone lines for you to tell me. I'll give you that time. So, what do you bring? Is it just about unseating George Weah? Is it just about, the normal political game that we play on a daily basis. My colleague has just joined me, Sekou. I'll welcome you shortly. Welcome. Hello.
Emmanuel, I want to say good evening to you, and I want to, is it I should apologize? No,
No,
it is not
you've
intentionally.
you've been running. I know
Very
that.
good. You know, folks, this issue about us having with Ali, it is something just beyond anyone's imagination. There are lots of things being played out as to have this team buried, and we've remained focused. And I just want to pass in something, very important information. Recently on social media, Emmanuel, I want you to read our communication.
Yes, I will conclude and then read this communication.
Recently on social media, one of the guys posted, this issue. But there has been a lot of conflicting issues coming about the way President of Liberia is handling the issue concerning Ali and us here at Voice of Liberia. And what has been posted on social media, it is truth. It is from the President of Liberia. But the President of Liberia did wrong. They did not do due diligence. And so we've been having conversation on the phone, and they've admitted, they did not include what we said. And before this, the net ends, the president is currently doing a release. But we're going to call the president of the president of Liberia so he can clarify the mistakes they've made. And we will not let go anything. But let me just read you what they...
Can we please, I was in flight, let me conclude and then we come back exclusively and deal with that.
That issue you're talking, you will continue just for us to talk in passing.
Oh, okay.
It's not something for us to...
Oh, okay.
You will continue the discussion, please. So this is a document from the president of Liberia, and this says February 22, 2023. It says, findings and conclusion on an investigation conducted into journalist Sekou Sharif complaint against Ali Kobasi, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Building Materials Center, done on February 20th, 2023 at the PUL headquarters on 44 Gale Street, Monrovia, Liberia. Journalist Sekou Sharif complained. On February 9, 2023, journalist Sekou Sharif of Voice of Liberia Radio 104.1 FM communicated with the President of Liberia complaining Mr. Ali Kobasi, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Building Materials Center, located on the Capital Bypass. Journalist Sharif complained that Mr. Kobasi made threatening statement to him through a phone conversation that he, Ali, will F with his Sekou. According to him, he then asked Ali Ali, do you really mean what, blah, 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 blah. That is a long thing. I want to go to the findings, right? With the findings, this is what PUL said, it is the findings, according to the document, that should not have been on social media, but it got on social media because Ali sent this document. You see, the president of Liberia has not done us well. That's the reason why we're going to call the president or the president of Liberia. We are journalists. The findings is in the possession of the accused, then we that have complained. Up to present, we've not received the findings. We've not received official findings from the PUL. Even though today we went to PUL where we sent one of our staffs to take a letter to PUL, we could not receive it, but we saw it on the social media before we got to know that PUL came out with findings. Fellow Liberians, what the PUL is up for. We're going to call the president of Liberia, Charles Coffey. He needs to tell us, oh my God, what's happening in our country. Anyway, we'll call him. We'll speak to him. The president of Liberia is coming up with a release. The president of the PEL has joined us. Good evening, Mr. Coffey.
Yeah, good evening.
It is somewhat disappointing, but it feels good to have you on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, thank God.
Mr. Coffey, there's a document on social media where it says It is a funding for the president of Liberia. Did you give the go-ahead for that document to be on the social media?
No, all our documents, especially mediating, they are not for public consumption. When we're ready for the public, we can do a release to summarize that. So I'm very surprised when people have been calling me about findings on social media.
So how did it get to the social media? Who did you give the document to, in fact?
Well, the parties involved, we are transmitted, except you people have not received your copy, because we have your copy, and the reporters came there with communication from the lawyer. He left before we concluded. So I left, I went to do other thing. I came back, we haven't given your copy, but we have sent the copy to one of the the parties.
Who did you send it to?
Yeah, we give a copy of the findings, because normally when we do the finding, we send it to the parties concerned before final decision. We'll give a copy of Ali to his staff, and your copy is still with us because we...
So Mr. President, is it that Ali was on the scene when you people concluded it, or you people called Ali for his copy?
No, Ali did not come to us, and none of you came to us. We completed the document and the findings, and we started transmitting information to you people to come. So he got his copy.
And the reason why I'm asking, why is it we did not receive any call from you people that the findings were ready, but Ali received a call and he got his copy? Up to present, we've not been able to get our copy.
Well, as I said to you, the copies were there, and I left it with the office staff. In fact, I text you that I was in class when I was coming, but I have your copy. But normally these copies, the findings are not for public consumption. So we see that anybody who has a copy or the finding must first take delivery of the findings.
So in this case Mr. President, in this case where it is now on social media, who do you think could be behind this thing where it is being leaked? Because two persons, only one person has received a copy and it is now on social media. Who do you blame?
Yeah, that's why I was the secretary to launch investigation, because there are two of you involved and you haven't received your copy. Your copy is on my desk because you all concluded this evening, and as I text you, I was out asking that you come. Because your office staff left when they brought a communication from the lawyer before we concluded, so you haven't received your copy. So we investigate and come out and identify what has happened. But what we are doing, because we're supposed to do a release, the release is the final document that can go to the public. For example, when you mediating between people to come up with a decision, a conclusion, you have to take your time to meet everybody acquiescing. They can be, because dispute resolution mechanism requires that people are aggrieved or angry, so it's not one day to conclude. So what our release supposed to come, but actually it's about that we mediated successfully. Both parties came, but what is left now is that after the communication to you about the finding that Ali should apologize, and he did. You told us that you were going to meet your lawyer. The lawyer came to us and sent a copy of the communication. We have it with other hero, Ali, calling for the signing of bond. So that's why pending. So we have a copy of that also supposed to be in the release.
Mr. President, there are some things that the public or we here at Voice of Liberia, it has caught our attention where in the findings you said the entire process has come to a closure. So as to that point, no one should come up and say any other thing. Anyone doing such will be held liable. Did this issue come to a conclusive conclusion, or yesterday there were requests?
I don't know if you could read that portion, because we said confrontation. We advised both of you, because it was a confrontational thing that resolved to the threat, as you complained. So the statement is that all of you should avoid confrontation. As the issue unfolded, anybody engaging in confrontation will be held liable. It did not say finally anybody say anything again. No. So they have to understand that maybe the person who provided analysis said confrontation. There is no need for confrontation as we proven. We have made significant progress in that, to the level that communication has been issued. You came, you submitted, Ali came, and our duty is to mediate and resolve. What is legal will be left with the legal people. So we didn't say that. You can't say anything. In fact, your lawyer wrote a letter to Ali calling for bond. The letter is before us. It's another development to that aspect. So maybe I don't know.
This is what you people wrote in there, because I don't want to classify it to be official because I'm seeing it from the social media. Until you can tell me it is official, it says in the document here that let me read this entire thing so the people will listen.
No, just look at that portion.
Yes, I'll read a portion. Yeah, I'll read a portion, but it's also important, Mr. President, so the people will understand. He said, following careful examination by the parties involved and realizing the nature of the matter, the President of Liberia resorted to amicably settling the matter through mediation. The outcome of the conference was that businessman Ali was asked to do a letter of apology to journalist Sekou Sharif of Voice of Liberia 104.1 FM, since he confirmed being hurt in his conversation with Sekou, which Sekou considered as threatening statement, and he, Ali, do away with interfering on behalf of anyone regarding investigation being conducted by the media once it is not about Ali. The hearing was impartial, transparent, and concluded peacefully. You listen to your own statement here, right? So you say concluded peacefully. So another thing you say here again, the union believes as a matter of mediation and ensuring harmony, it has, let me see it, sorry, the place is perfectly handled the issue and urged both parties to refrain. So meaning when you say you perfectly handled the issue, meaning there is no other issue, right?
No, just conclude on that.
Okay, refrain from further confrontation, as doing such person will be held liable. Okay. The conference was attended. You did not say anything yet. There are furthermore issues that were to be handled in terms of the bond.
Yeah, but Sekou, the last statement you read, anybody who understood that, you should know that statement is referring to further confrontation until we reach a logical conclusion. But your appearance there, the both of you with some of your colleagues, was handled peacefully. There was no confrontation. There was no fight. And what is before us now is a communication calling for a bond. So those findings are normally intended for all of you to look at it before making any conclusive aspect about the latest things that are coming out.
Now,
I don't know how people took the finding, because it's done before me now. I left the office and placed it on social media, because we haven't given you copies. Only one person will give copies. And they are communication you sent to us through your lawyer, Councilor Khalifa Sharif, calling from bond. That communication is not directly to us. That communication is acknowledging the apology letter sent by Ali, and that you people are asking Ali to go beyond the apology.
There, my question is,
apologies and do the bond.
My colleague wants to ask you.
So we have that communication. It's the latest aspect relating to our discussion we have.
Okay, thank you. So
you told us that you were going to meet a lawyer to come. So what you can do, that aspect is about legal issues. So when you wrote
that was my question,
you send it to him directly, and we have to work with you people to see that aspect. We find the way out on that aspect.
Okay.
But what we were saying is that it was peaceful. Everything you wrote, your communication, you can explain it. He himself explained. He acknowledged that and was peacefully, discussed. There was no any argument or fight. And you told us that you were going to get to your lawyer. Lawyer came, and that communication has been transmitted to Ali. But what is unfortunate is that for people, document that we have now sent in public domain, it's very possible that we need to propose other things, because I just something we send it to you to see, and then your responses before. So normally that's why we don't let to give people finding, but it was important.
Okay, Mr. President.
So what we normally do was to do our release on that mediation. Is something that both parties can agree.
So before my colleagues come in, do you agree that this entire mediation has not been reached to its conclusion?
Yes, with the latest communication that you need a bond communicated with me, acknowledging the letter of apology. That's what I earlier indicated. From our end, we're mediating, we reached a significant step forward.
Okay.
But the last thing that is remaining is the bond you talk about. So until that is dealt with, then of course there will be conclusiveness.
Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us this evening to provide some clarity. And it is also good that yourself, you branded the action of posting this particular document on Facebook as a bad one, which is not correct. I mean, you are frustrated over it. But let me ask you this question, Mr. President. What part do you have to play at the moment, considering the fact that the request for a bond, the request for a particular statement is legal? What are you going to do? Are you going to refer the two parties involved to court because you are not a legal entity?
It's a very good question. That's why when Sekou accepted the apology condition that you have to meet your lawyer and Councillor, the guy who wrote the communication is Councillor Khalifa Sharif. So that means he has a legal experience. We don't know the interpretation. So the only thing we can do is that's why the communication directly was addressed to Ali about the bond. So we're going to work with all of you, work with Sekou, and work with the team to reach a logical conclusion on that portion.
So, Mr. President, before we let you go, it means that there were mistakes on the part of the president of Liberia as to have that fundings into the hands of just one person, and it has been misinterpreted where you did not conclusively conclude as to whether the fundings...
We could take that, when we finish with funding, we can send funding to any party. Because
but it is not final.
With the provision that it should not be, it's not for public consumption.
Okay.
Because we can do a release, after everything we do a release. So myself, I'm very surprised to see document on Facebook. So does that mean that when we do investigation, we shouldn't abridge of our discussion?
Who's undermining investigation at the level of the press union of Liberia? Who's undermining investigation at the level of the press union of Liberia? Because as we all know, this document is not for public consumption as alluded by you.
Yeah, it's not to be placed in the public.
So who's undermining the process of investigation?
But that's why I said we want to find out who sent the document. We sent it to only one person, and you have not received yours.
Okay.
The person who distributed the document, because they should have called you to come for you. You don't file from us. That's
so you think it could be Ali or someone from your office?
That's what we got to launch. But tomorrow I'll call you after the launch investigation.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know the document so far, but the aspect, everything in the record is clear that the guy has written you, acknowledging that. And I think the president's decision, plan was to make sure that we have amicable resolution of the matter, which of course you did not dispute.
But Mr. President, Mr. President, make a minute, please. Are you also taking into consideration that this is not just about settling the issue? You want to think about the safety of the journalists?
But that's why I'm bringing about the bond that we are not lawyers to handle, as I told you.
Okay.
That the safety and protection is very important.
Okay, Mr. President.
That's why the aspect of the bond is not being handled by all its lawyer. Even you yourself did not read the communication to Ali calling for bond. It's the lawyer.
Yes. That's the reason why we have a legal person here. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We hope to see the receipt. The release.
That's what we're going to do in the release, but the drafting, it will still come up because it's our release. What I want to advise is that people should stop politicizing the mediation that is ongoing. It's a very grave situation that we're trying to find a resolution. It doesn't matter what is going to the sounding board or whatever, but it should not be on social media. All the cases, the conference we've been having with people, mediation, including conference we've been having with you people with different issues that the people were, in the wrong against you, including foreign affairs. We have not seen that on the social media.
So it means that
somebody explain things to you in confidence that you do your record and write the person. This is why you say, look at it, to take and put it in the social media it doesn't author well. It's unfortunate. It's not good.
Thank you. Yeah. Even though you don't want to say about Ali anything, right? That only Ali get the letter. But let me say this. my colleague will continue on the show. Maybe you want to take calls because it's a very important issue, Emmanuel. It is about your life. It is about my life. It is about the lives of the people that are working with Voice of Liberia. If Ali is behaving this way, it means that he has something under his sleeves. Someone took just of findings. You see, fellow Liberians, you're listening to the president of Liberia. You see how they treated us? Up to present, we don't have ours, but Ali has his. And I'm told, it is alleged that Ali received this funding since yesterday, while we are yet to receive the fundings. Fellow Liberians, you see what we're going through? We wait to see the release, and on tomorrow we're going to the police headquarters. We hope the PUL will stand with us, because any attempt on their part not to stand with us, they'll be shooting themselves in the legs. Onward, tomorrow we'll go to the Capitol building.
Okay, so that's it. You listen to the president of the Press Union of Liberia, Charles Coffey, giving his side of the story. He branded it as unfortunate for this document to leak. But again, it's equally unfortunate from our end, we want to say, for the failure of the Press Union, most especially the Secretariat, to have failed to present us a copy of this document that is supposed to remain confidential. But yet, it was given to the man who is accused, this foreigner. So, yes, we don't have it. We hold it as it is. It just speaks to another thing. You know,
Yes.
something just came to my mind that, you know, in Liberia, I don't care what you do, certain things can happen. I'm not saying any inducement took place whatsoever. We trust our PUL. We believe in the guys at the PUL. But for this document to have been presented to Ali, who is just a minute walk from our institution, Voice of Liberia, just a minute, a stone throw away from Voice of Liberia, received his, and we couldn't receive ours.
Even though we sent someone to the office there today.
Yes, with another communication. I think it speaks to something. Like yesterday, I was on the radio. Most of our callers advised us to, you know, forget about this thing a little, since indeed we are, you know, instituting or taking advantage of some of the legal processes. They advised that we take it off the air a little. So this evening, when I came on the show, I did not touch it. I did not say anything about it, because we listen to them in as much as they listen to us, in as much as they are our listeners, our followers. So I didn't say anything, but we had to bring this because it is important. It is all over now on social media. PUL investigated, they have findings, and they are yet to come up with a
And then
release.
the case has been closed.
They closed the
no
matter.
one should talk about it.
But the case is closed. We don't have the findings. We have to go on Facebook page and see this and ask the president of the Press Union of Liberia to authenticate this document.
And imagine, my brother, I was somewhat far from Monrovia. When I saw this, I needed to drive back to Monrovia. And we had more than 30 minutes call on the line with the president of Liberia, the current vice president, the incoming president of Liberia, Mr. Daniel Yankona. And in fact, I needed to drop the call at a certain point in time to talk to our international people because they were angry. They said, but why would the president of Liberia do this? Why would the Press Union of Liberia? Why will you sell your own? What have we done wrong? So this is just a blame game, and we will continue to do everything to expose those of the people that are trying to do something different. You listening to us, you will definitely understand from the explanation of the president of Liberia, what has happened. Because under no condition that we that have been threatened, our lives have been threatened, to have been treated the way we've been treated. You gave whatsoever to Ali. Ali is now working, like the question I'm asking, right? Was Ali present when you guys got through with the document? He said no.
No.
You guys were able to call Ali, but you guys were unable to call us.
And in fact, we are as close to the press union of Liberia as compared to Ali. Except for any other reason, for the president who we just called will say he doesn't have my number, neither your number. Except for Daniel Yankona, for whatsoever reason best known to himself, the incoming president of the PUL will say he doesn't have my number or neither have your number.
What happens?
Neither the secretariat.
What happens? From our conversation, Daniel has not even been in the know of what has happened. Honestly. Okay. Daniel has not been in the know. In fact, we're on the phone. Daniel was asking the president as to why he said like this. And in fact, why can we meet the demand of of our colleague that is saying that a life is something that is, but
I think something is happening.
Something happened.
Something
and
is happening.
And this has put the president of Liberia into a position where people might not trust them. In fact, this is a test we did to the president of Liberia. This matter is not a mediation matter. President of Liberia should not be even saying that they mediated. What president of Liberia should be saying that the mayor has admitted and we are going to court. You know, because it's about the safety of a journalist. But you talking about mediation. So what becomes of the safety of us? So you don't care? It's only the letter of apology, then, oh, it's okay. Brother, you see what we're going through?
You know, the PUL, Charles Coffey is our big brother. We do respect him. But I think on this one, you guys actually erred, and you have to muster the moral high grounds to apologize to us, because we still have other means available that we are taking advantage of. But actually, you did wrong. Because I'm saying this because a matter was brought to you. Okay, you decided, and in fact, you heard this thing. We wrote you. You said nothing. We had to come back on air. We had to stage a peaceful protest.
Yes.
We had to run to you crying before you listen to us. Come on. This is not, you are not a court, like I said. Now, you are not a police station or an officer of the law. Let me tell you the difference. A court doesn't go looking for cases. A court says that even if the case or cases are available, they don't go looking for those cases. But the police were trained, we are paying police to be cheche police. They don't mind their business. If a police officer sees a crime somewhere, he moves in. If a police officer sees a crime somewhere, she moves in. That's the reason we pay the police for protecting us. They are like cheche police who don't mind their business. Like Chief Zanza Kawa who call us the journalists. He call us cheche police. What man cheche police then? You know, so the police are being paid to go after crimes. People don't have to tell them to go after crime. It is their job. That's the reason you see them. They stand at various street corners and regulating traffic. If there is an accident case, police moves in, even if they are not invited. It is their responsibility. So you, PUL, you are not a court. You are like the police station, most especially when there is a case that involves one of your own. So you're supposed to have moved in. You're supposed to have taken a proactive, decision. Very, very proactive for you to have moved in to handle the situation. Now we fought our way, we came to you, we complain, we cry, we protest. Yes, we can call it protest. There was a peaceful march too. We had to stage a peaceful march, hold press conference, make noise on this radio, use other media institutions to spread the information. You can't tell me say you didn't hear it. You can't tell me say you didn't know anything about it. But you sat down quietly and did nothing. Now we've come to you today to say, help us. See what you've done. See what you've done. What do you want to present? Who are you protecting here? What are you looking for? Mr. Charles Coffey, you and your team, this is, in my mind, it is one of the highest levels of betrayal against one of your own. You did not proceed well. You did not proceed well. You should have done this impartially. See, telecommunication on Facebook. People go and read it, but we don't have it. But yet the man who threatened Sekou, by extension, the staff of Voice of Liberia, has the findings that come on. What kind of place we are? Again, I don't want to use the normal cliche that says this too is Liberia. But you can just understand the kind of country we are in. So, one of your journalists, and in fact, a media institution is flagging an issue of safety. But man, they think an causing issue where you say the men, they cause each other, or they saw they saw each other somewhere, and you saw on a corner, and they fought. After fighting, they decided to let it go, and decided to have gentleman agreement. So one party apologized, or maybe someone went somewhere and stole something. They tried to harmonize. This is not the situation. So let me ask you, Mr. Coffee, or maybe Daniel Yankona and the rest of the guys at the PUL, in case one of the guys in the hierarchy of the press union of Liberia, one of the guys there, in case this was the situation between one of the authorities at the PUL and of course Mr. Ali Kobasi, is this how you are going to handle it? Is this how you give the man and the communication is on? Then you are telling us. And in fact, Mr. Coffee doesn't even know how to defend this thing. He doesn't know how to defend it. The man is jittering, answering the question. And I had class, I had to go to class, and this thing. I mean, you one of our own, if he err, will tell you. Your big brother will do respect you. But if he made mistake, will tell you, Chief. You don't behave this way to your colleagues. In case this happens, to you, is that how you will handle it? Mm-hmm. But maybe Mr. Coffee is outgoing.
Yes,
and the leadership is outgoing. That's the reason that they're not even informed, because I'm told Daniel Yankona is not informed, like you said.
Yes, he's not from the conversation.
So let do it the way you did it. But I'm telling you in your face that you made a mistake, and we deserve an apology from you as a media entity and you as a big brother. You have to muster that courage. You have to get that moral. Stand on that ground and tell us sorry for what you did.
Yes, and we were demanding to do it because I said to them.
You read letter. Again, my late grandmother used to say, I can close my eye and I will never open it till I reach the PUL from Voice of Liberia office on the bypass here. And you come and treat us this way and say, I had to go to class and I know the secretary going. What are you going to investigate? Nothing. You lying to the public.
Yes.
You don't do it. Mr. Coffee. The thing just got to me just now, man.
This is
that one we just got to me. You are big brother. You are president outgoing. We sense. Look, we canvass for you.
Yeah.
To show you or to tell you how far we've come.
You've desperately performed. You can't say, oh, you know.
And you be telling our class, I gave the secretary. Even you presented it to the secretary. A communication came from Voice of Liberia today.
Yeah.
To go to the PUL headquarters. So you telling me no member of the secretariat was there, but yet our communication from the councillor was received.
Yes.
What is this? Let me stop it right there. We'll open the phone lines for your calls, for your interaction. But like I was saying, let's just close this and take calls before we can go. Just say human black eye.
You want us to take calls, we'll come back to the political issue. You will come back to the political issue.
Yeah,
because this is about ourselves. And we want to say thank you again. Hard FM has extended an invitation to us to be there tomorrow morning. We'll continue to flag the issue. We don't have the money. We don't have the power, but we respect what the law says. Even the very people that are to protect us will do what is wrong. We'll correct them. It's so good we have him now on record. He himself admitting to it. How you go give somebody something, we that go complain? So it means in the whole thing, I just want to know the whole thing here. So like, but they're not thinking about our safety.
No phone call.
They don't care.
No phone call whatsoever.
They
We
were
don't have
able
the
to call us
communication.
to go there. The other time when we complained, they could not do anything. We went there. But to tell us that all findings is ready. I said on yesterday, I'm told that Ali had the findings. So with all these kinds of things, now how do we go to a point to just accept apologies? For God's sake. With all these kinds of things are happening, how do we go to a point to say, okay, I accept apology? Ali has something on his sleeves. And he will need to do. There's a country of law. No matter what he does, he will need to sign the commitment bond. Without that issue, we will go to the law. And what the law says, Ali will be responsible for our life. 0770 907 907 0770 907 907 0880 907 907 are the two numbers to join us tonight on the show. You know, the PUL is desecrating the sacredness of the institution, man. The leaders that are there, they are desecrating the sacredness of the institution. You don't run, you don't behave like that, Mr. Coffee.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah. This is Destiny Ike Seaton. Good to be on Voice of Liberia. Yeah, it's good. I'm so grateful. I wanted to join you people, but unfortunately, attacked by malaria. Just recovering. I wanted to join the peaceful march. As you plan at the police station, the headquarters of the LMP, and all want to the Capitol building. Unfortunately, the malaria attacked me. However, it's good that we are heading somewhere. You know, it's unfortunate what I'm hearing from you from the role of the PU. It's quite unfortunate as you are alleging from the outgoing.
But you didn't listen to the man we interviewed him? You didn't listen to him?
I just put the radio on.
Okay, we interviewed him. He said he admitted.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that it's good that the guy who threatened you have admitted and apologizing. It should be legal. Let him be responsible for your security, because it shouldn't just be gentleman agreement, but it should be done in the jurisdiction of the court, so that tomorrow, God forbid, the cook and the law can take control of it. Thank you very much. I will play that everything.
Thank you very much. We'll take this question. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sekou Sherry. Good evening, peace-loving people of the Republic of Liberia. This is Efanso A.F. Kamal calling from Transformer Community District number 10. As last night we were proceeding with a conversation, all of a sudden I went off. You see, this government is like a total.
It's not a government. We're talking about the... Hello, get this right. It's not government here. We're talking about PUL. What PUL has done.
Yeah, I'm coming to PUL.
Yeah, but not government now.
The president, okay, let's go to Dana Yakona. Dana Yakona is a
it's
president
Charles
of
Coffee.
the
It's Charles Coffee, not Dana Yakona.
Okay.
He just got elected.
Charles Coffee. As a mayor, you are leading your group. The journalist in this country, he is a head. So what is his standpoint? What is the decision he's taking? Then he's telling you to accept or apologies without a concrete agreement or document signed for that instead. They will just accept apology like that. We will not grant our apologies.
Thank you. Let's take another person on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Sekou.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
And let me say good evening to my brother. This is DJ Lume.
Yeah, DJ Lume. Go ahead, brother.
Look, thank you, Emmanuel, and I listen to the PUL president. In fact, what he did was a compromise. Am I right? That every document that was given, every information was given to Ali or whosoever, you should have received yours first before that man. But the local thing that I just read on the radio, and I think it's not correct what the PUL did. They undermining you people.
Yes.
And here's the situation we're talking about Liberia here. When Liberia mean anything, I want some people saying nothing will come from her either because of that. Because I don't know whether that money can carry them or they just want to be just ingenious to their friends. It's very bad. But right, you spoke to guys the first information before Ali. Then why they left you against that many things so they could, because I didn't know what I get you read.
Yeah, and then Ali go take it and go send it to another person on social media and think say we were.
I mean, the work can finish. The work can finish.
So they're making it to look like we, yeah, that's what they want to do. That what they want to do, but it won't work.
That's what they want to do. The other people will say, second compromise. All the thing we do here, second compromise.
Yeah.
And you see the things we're talking, but by the grace of God, that's where that everywhere it comes. And if you expose it to the Liberian people, we get to know the deal. My brother, we stand with you people, and we stand with the voice of Liberia.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. We do appreciate. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Segu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Chawu Hassan, and I join you from Electoral District 11 Upper Kawai. So, Segu, I listened to your conversation this evening, and I listened to the president. You know, these are things normally when we say to our colleagues, sometimes they take it as issue. But such actions, it undermines the vibrancy of the PEL. When I listened to the president, it was good that you placed a call to him so that we can get his side of the stories. You know, absolutely, it undermines the entire investigation. Because how can you find out the funding in your case, right? And then the complainant does not receive any report about the funding, and then you send it to the accuser. It undermines the investigation right there. So the PL president was in error. He needs to apologize to you guys, because one thing is to take into consideration your life is involved.
Yeah.
It's the primary thing here. We're not discussing whether you go in bed with the young man or what have you, but we're looking at your life. Your life is involved. Your life is involved, so that's what we're looking at. You need to apologize. And to conclude, Sekou, if any funding come out that you guys need to reconcile and see reason that we signed a bond, you know,
the man will do a commitment bond, and you will be responsible for our security. If anything happens to us, he will be responsible. He will do a commitment bond.
You were talking, I don't know, you off me.
No, I didn't cut you off. I will do it.
We will not compromise with the issue, because you people are our professional journalists in this country. We will not sit down, people can just blackmail you people or make you know if they say it's real. We will not accept the apologies. Then they come up publicly and start document to the effect. That's similar as Ali Alika apologize publicly and we will document to that effect. So that's all I have to say. We will not go close to.
Thank you very much. The man will do a commitment bond. What the lawyer says is what he would do. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Richardson, and I joined the conversation from Upper Caldwell.
Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, I listen to you, and for some of us, I always say on this platform, we were with you when other people were nowhere around. We stood by you. Even today, we also stand by you. But for me, I appeal to you. If this matter will go to court, let the matter go to court so we can lay this to rest. If the PUL will play that role, let the people. So let's just lay this.
But see what PUL did. You not listen to what PUL did. If to say we're not smart to be on top of our game, this thing PUL is like trying to favor Ali over us.
So that what I'm saying, Sekou, if this case, because by now, if the case were in court, I think we will not be going back and forth with the PUS saying the PUS saying that. So let's think about it to see what we can do, because everything that we will do here, everything we will call on the radio, we must do everything. At the end of the day, we will have to go to the court. Either we go to the court or we sit down and bring a lawyer, you bring a lawyer, and your lawyer tell you what to do on the paper, and then you do it, and then we can move on. Thank you, Sekou. Thank
you, my brother. Thank you. The man will do the commitment bond. If he fails to do it, we go to court. Hello? Hello. Good evening, sir.
I'm Anthony Sami calling from my county.
Calling from where? Bapolu?
Mangibi county.
Mangibi, go ahead, my Mangibi brother. Oh, he's on the line. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead. You coming in very...
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead. We barely hear you, but we can manage.
The first thing I want to tell you is that I want to thank you for your consistency. Since this whole thing started, you have remained consistent in your action. I like you for that. If it was different entity, I mean, that was going to buy you. That was going to buy you. Look at what you are going through, and you still remain consistent because you the whole case. The second thing is, look at the PUS behavior. Eh? Seku, I mean, man. Corporate, if nobody would say it, I would say it. Corporate told something.
Sure, it is what that is.
And the corporate man, they are professional. What they did is unethical. Shame on them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Let's take another person here. Good evening.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Sherry.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead, my brother.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for bringing the figure, Mr. Sherry. Who can all tell you? I told you, I stated that yesterday. That same man, that man to his store. I got one of my friends there. The man told me, so, oh, Charles Coffee and Charles Coffee problem. The man called someone there in meeting. Oh, the Charles Coffee tell people what to do and what to not do. That once you my friend called me, told me, you scream from a serious. The man said, yes, they can go there. But the image on journalists, behind the big behind you, they want to see the downfall. You say the state that Sekou shall reach. Only Allah can bring down. And the blessing of the father and mother, I keep being there. So, for they are not yet believe that you the owner of us on that door.
That they live with a dream war.
Inshallah, we'll keep praying with you and we'll keep you in the case.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much, my brother. Take more calls. Emmanuel is listening, watching, taking calls. Good evening.
Hello, brother.
Good evening, sir. Let's hear you.
Okay, I'm Seth Juskier calling from District 17. I called you the last time on the same aspect when you talk about the march. But one thing I want to say, the PUL, your president, I will say this without any fear. He was bought.
Sure.
He was bought by Ali. So the only thing I can tell you, don't go to that coffee because he ain't got no sugar inside to drink. Don't go to him again. Tell your lawyer, you go to the court and let the court make that man to sign out that bond.
Okay,
then sign out because it's your life. And life is irreplaceable. When it's gone, it's gone. And I've been enjoying your show. If I miss you as to be fair friend, I will miss somebody a lot because through your voice of Liberia, I can hear from the continents from different countries. So I won't see that particular entity to be bereaved. I won't be at peace. So please take my advice. Tell your lawyer you'll take it directly to the court. No, that thing you're talking about compromise, you can't compromise life.
Okay, thank you.
Your life is not, you can't make it because if you do it, sorry to say, if you lost it, we just lost you and cry for some time and we miss you for good.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, this was on my mind. So,
thank you. Good evening. You see what you're doing?
Sorry. Hello?
Hello, welcome.
Sibu.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
You are one of the patriotic Liberians. I'm calling from top my brother Bommy.
Go ahead, Chief.
All right. Thank you very much. What I'm saying is, in the 70s, a Lebanese man killed one Liberian for peppermint. And nothing came from inside. So this case, don't take it lightly. Take it seriously because PUL, that man there, he has been bought. He's a paid agent. Don't listen to him. All why he said, listen to your true us. Why Emmanuel was asking him everything. So I only tell you, say, just be yourself. God is with you and we are also with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. We'll take a few more calls and go to another issue. Like we said, we might not reach 9 o'clock tonight on the show. So let's take a few more calls. 0770907907, 0880907907. You can radio PUL. You can be standing PUL and see our building. And you say you give it to secretary ain't give it to all. But you got a phone number. You can't call the phone number. Really? You know, you're making this man to feel like he's the boss. I mean, I'm the boss. I'll make them angry. So I'll post a letter since indeed I have the letter. In fact, he might have been informed that he's the only person who has the letter. He's the only person that the letter will be given to for the day. Maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday before we receive ours on Thursday. What kind of preference is that? What are you trying to tell us? Our own institution, our umbrella body that is supposed to be providing protection for us. That's the reason the PUL was established. One of the cardinal reasons to regulate and provide protection for journalists, practicing journalists. And you sit down there. You made Ali to look like a big man. You say, I'll make them invest in fire. I'll make the people, I'll post it on Facebook for them to see it. Then they get angry more. The man had already told us that, look, you will tell the thing, when you're talking, they say 1 year, 5 years, oh, made me famous. You made me big man in this country. See what you've done. So you are validating what the man said. Our own PUL, not different institution. And then Charles Coffey, outgoing President Charles Coffey, our own big brother. We respect you, Chief. I continue to say this. But in this case, you made a grave mistake. It might have been intentional. Some are saying you were induced financially. I don't want to believe that because I don't have the facts. But what I do know, you and your secretariat made a big mistake. Let's take a few more calls. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. You're live.
Yeah, Secret Service, this is your uncle Ben Miller. We always call you all the top shows around you after this discuss.
Go ahead.
Always keep up and continue to say that 4 years you after them to be on the line.
Go ahead, Chief.
I monitored the whole issue. One good thing I will tell you is left, you cannot buy the left. Now the situation with all things we know that the devil moved 24 hours. The outgoing president, a man said that the feeling bargain already. Don't overlook it. Never you overlook it. Go straight to the court. A lawyer, go, and his lawyer come in, they go into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't overlook it. Say Ben Miller, say J.D. Barry Miller, your papi, all the way in Marshall.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. You're live.
Sekou, thank you for the show for tonight.
What's your name, Chief?
I'm so disappointed for the amount of form of the President of Liberia. You know, Sekou, you people have been focused, especially from Freedom FM days of the present. And you know that the President of Liberia, especially Mr. Charles Coffey, is strongly against the advocacy for the Liberian people in this country. That's what we know. But Sekou, I tell you, don't be deterred. We will stand by you. You know, we have, from the time you were with Freedom FM, we did not forsake you as a Liberian. Every time you call upon us as a public, we were always there with you. And in the struggle, I tell you for sure, Sekou, we are there with you, and we are not going to allow people from out of the country to come and want to rule us in this country. We are against it to the lowest and to the highest, and we are going to make sure that every time you call upon us to gather, we are going to send in the number. Okay. From today to tonight, I have started already to organize Friends of Sekou against that individual.
Okay.
We are going to fight with you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. You're live.
Yeah, my name is I just want to tell Brother Sekou sharing that. But first of all, nobody gave a life to him. It is Almighty Allah that gave him life. And anyone want to plot against him, whether be the Ali male or a press male, nobody it was Sekou sharing because they are not the one that gave him his life. God Almighty or Allah Almighty will expose any evil that behind it, whether from the press or the Ali, any evil that they play against Sekou sharing. It will go against them and they shall be exposed. Any evil they plot by that against Sekou Sherry, it will not work for them. Okay. We are with you by the power of God Almighty. We are with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me take 2 more calls. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you too.
Okay.
And I want electoral district number 5, Pumle Guaistan, Amasa Oka.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Mr. Sherry, what the PA did is very bad what he did to Mr. Charles Coffey. I listened to the conversation, but it's very bad what he did.
Okay.
Because the investigation never went on, and the man that did the thing, he already had some of the people in his hand. I listened to it. I listened to it, it was very bad.
Yes, ma'am.
It was very bad what he did. He has to apologize to your institution for what he did. This country here, because of money, the people do a whole lot of things what they are doing. So, he should apologize to you, and the identical mayor should go back. You should carry him to the law. Let him be responsible for your life, because it's not easy. So, just apologize.
Okay, Mama. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you too, Mr. Cherry. Mr. Cherry?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I want for you to come sometime on this electoral district number 5, because you should come on this That the same thing we are going on to on this area.
You said what county? What county?
That's number 5, district number 4, Homeland.
What county is it? Bombay or where?
Grand Bassa.
Oh,
Grand Bassa.
Grand Bassa.
Yes.
Okay. So we have your number. At times we will come to Grand Bassa and then call you.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for calling from the port city of Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. Let's take one more call and then we will run maybe 15 or so minutes into 8 o'clock before we can call it a day. 077-0107-107, 080-107-107. If we don't have a caller, then we take a very short break to come back and conclude on what we were saying. This is Voice of Liberia. And so welcome back to Issues of the Day on Voice of Liberia. You're listening to Zibote. It's a fine song, you know. I know I'm shaking some of the Oma and Pabe and long time, you know. But let's go straight into our final discussion as we started this evening. I was talking about, you know, what the opposition community is coming with. What do they have to offer aside from criticizing, aside from saying Joseph Boakai is coming with experience, he's coming with integrity, he's worked in government for over 40 years, so he's coming with a wealth of experience, all of those, aside from all of those things. What is he coming with? Or in general, let me just put it in one box. What is the opposition community focus? What can they say to Ma'am Mary, who is selling her fire coal all the way in Bapolu County, and in fact, to the pepper seller who is trying to harvest or grow her pepper on the farm where there is no road connecting her little village to the main city of that county, what do you say to her? What hope do you give her? Do you only go to, criticize and say Josh Weah has failed, Josh Weah has mismanaged state resources, so vote him out? Is that the message? What is the tangible? Do you only say that you want to collectively join hands and vote out Mr. Weah and his government? Is that the platform? Because I'm yet to capture that, and I stand to be corrected on that. That's the reason I'm very sure those from the opposition will call tonight and tell me, hey, Emmanuel, I think you've not listened to us. I think you've not quizzed us enough for us to say what we have, as a platform, though you are not a government yet, but you are a government in waiting. So there is something, there is a tool, there is an instrument that you have to use to convince the people. For instance, you tell someone, hey, iPhone is not good to use. iPhone has this, blah, blah, blah. So do not use iPhone. You can rather use the Android phone. Use the Android phone, for instance. And then you convince the person, you tell the person the features within the Android phone. You tell the person how long the battery of the Android phone can last when you charge it, full it. You tell the person the capacity of the network. All of those things you say, the person gets convinced and says, okay, I accept, I will follow you. Those are the things we want to hear. I think this is an indirect promotion I'm doing for you, the members of the opposition, that you can say to us tonight, and moving forward, you continue to use them. You continue to say, okay, for the issue of road connectivity, this is what we would do. Electricity, this is what we will do. Healthcare delivery system, in 2-3 years when we are elected as a government of Liberia, this is what we will do. Those are things we want to hear. But instead of just saying less, so it's like it appears to me that you only have this focus, you only have this vision, this mindset to unseat President George Weah. Beyond that, nothing. So you will start from scratch. Beyond that, absolutely nothing you have to offer. Only because you are focused, you are bent on removing democratically now, removing President George Weah from the executive mansion. So I want to stop it there and just take a few calls before going this evening. But again, we await the naming of the running mate to other comings. We still waiting to see the vice presidential candidate to Cummings, Boakai, maybe Tewon Gonglo, Jeremiah Kun. Is it Kun? Yeah, from Nimba County. The other time I saw a photo on Facebook saying Magdala Cooper is also part of it. And so those are faces we will be seeing. Also, okay, we stop it right there. So we're hoping, because we have, like NEC is reporting, 230 days to go. And one of the processes at the NEC currently ongoing are, will start on tomorrow. Which is the accreditation of party agents, media, and observers for voter registration. So it starts from the 23rd of this. No, it started ever since, sorry. Okay, it started January because we are in February already. So it ends the 10th of March. It started on the 23rd of January and it ends the 10th of March. So the process is called the accreditation of party agents, media, and observers for the voters registration, the VR. So we're hoping that media institutions will take advantage of this and get their accreditation cards, because at certain times you will be stopped from going or from entering certain places when you are not accredited, when you don't have the tag given by the National Elections Commission. So that's it. What do you have to say relative to what I just explained? 0770907907. We will just take few calls on this and call it a day. 0770907907. What can we say? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Emmanuel. Good evening.
Yes, sir. You are live. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity you are affording me this great evening to speak to the voice of Liberia-VOL. This is Efanso EF Kamara calling for Transformer Community, to be precise, district number 10.
Okay.
So I love the topic on a discussion this evening. You see, we have a great hope and opportunity that opposition political parties can still come together and form a unity among our ticket to make John we are on one team president. The reason being very simple. The CPP Foundation still remains soluble, and we are still upholding the CPP Foundation. So we are urging all of those people that feel they could not follow the process or the actuality that brought CPP together 2019 to 2020 when we went for the May 10 election and we won half of the seats. I think that we are still open. They can come back, those are less, and can join the movement of CPP so that we can make John we are on one team president.
And that is a good point you struck.
Yeah, CPP, we have a platform. And the platform is vivid, clear to Labrimpo. We stand for education.
Oh, he's off the line. Well, he says something, you know. This entire problem that started in CPP started from the party of Mr. Benanan Uri. So when it started, they had to go to court because Cummings was accused of, altering the framework document, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, old man Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, decided to side with Mr. Uri. So those two institutions, I can say, walked away from the CPP. And also a segment of the Liberty Party. So the split, the allegation that has to do with altering the framework document is the main problem that brought this division. Now, you think that you want to defeat President Weah in the coming election? It is only advisable that those of you that left, I'm just suggesting, maybe I'm even helping the process. It is only advisable that, look, since you left, you can go back, apologize, have some closed door meetings, and say, look, let's fix this and move ahead. Let's fix this and move ahead. Since we want to have one force, because everybody's saying I want one round thing. For me, I can say I support one round. If CDC will win one round, fine. Win a one round. Let's save state resources and do other things with it. Because when you go to second round now, you will pay some money too. Okay? The opposition to saying one round. So anybody that will do the thing one round, we agree. You do it one round to save more money for the state. There are kids still, kids still in Bensonville, who are still sitting on the ground. They don't have armchairs. There are clinics, there are hospitals around here that don't have the common paracetamol. Let's save the money if this is the case. So I think it is only advisable that those that walk out of that marriage go right back. What can happen is that tea and tongue can fail. You go right back and say, okay, let's fix this thing and move ahead. Because we have experienced people in the opposition community. But let's take another call. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir, you're live.
Emmanuel Davis, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, thank you for taking my call this evening. Okay. This is Emmanuel Smith.
Okay.
I'm phoning from this state.
All right.
I listened to you very well, and I heard you talking about the people in the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing to unseat the ruling establishment?
What do they come with, aside from just having the forethought that we want to, defeat, we want to unseat President George Weah? What are you telling them that you can do relative to governance, relative to the improvement of the state?
Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the angle of the unity party.
Okay.
And I can say this for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That when it comes to leadership, when it comes to someone who Liberia can depend on in terms of the Liberian presidency,
mm-hmm.
we can entrust this country with His Excellency Honorable Joseph Yimam-Boaka. This is somebody who has stood the test of time. Look, let me tell you something. You know how you can know a good leader?
How?
I hear people talking about somebody working for 40 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this man working for 40 years, as people are always saying. Look at his track record for the job that he's been doing for the government. There is nothing less corruption stigma that is hanging over this man.
What does he bring to the table?
I come in. You know what the Liberia will be like today?
Except you say.
It's corruption. If somebody can work for 40 years
mm-hmm.
and be very sincere to his office that he occupied, without anything called corruption stigma hanging over him,
mm-hmm.
that person is indeed a true leader.
So he brings sincerity. No. Hello. Nim, please don't go to President Weah.
We are making comparative analysis with that of the ruling establishment and people in the opposition.
Let's discuss. You just told me one, right? You just told me one. Sincerity is what he's coming with. What's the next thing? Quickly, because others are on the line. Let's not do comparative analysis. Okay.
Leadership ability. Look, just imagine these guys took over this country just for the course of just 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the kind of corruption stigma that is hanging over President Weah today. Compare it with somebody who stood there for 40 years without a single trace of corruption. Today, the ruling establishment, they are finding all sorts of means to have the men entangled into corruption. But there is nothing they can show. They even went to Amos Sawyer time during the time of the transition government, where the late Mr. Sawyer went on radio and publicly admitted that this man was not dismissed because of corruption. So if you had a character-minded person like Mr. Boaka, and you have the executive marshal,
mm-hmm.
you will see Liberia moving forward.
Okay.
You will not have a President Weah who is taking state resources and building his property today.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
So George Boaka
mm-hmm.
is the best man to be president of this country.
Okay.
The opposition, we are serious-minded people.
Okay.
We have platform.
Email, please, let me take leave of you. Others are on the line. Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir. You're live on the show.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel Richardson, and joined the conversation from Upper Carwell.
All the Emmanuel's calling you. Your verse?
No, we are not. You see,
mm-hmm.
you just brought a topic up that's very important.
Okay.
and I told most of my friends in the opposition, the kind of conversation I want to have during the campaign. I don't want to be insulting people. I don't want to be, if I lay allegation against you in our studio, I should be bringing facts. I should be coming to the platform, or if we stay in the Coward Junction, and you tell me that President Weah must not be re-elected, Joe Boga should be re-elected, then you should come and tell me what Joe Boga has done for Liberia for the past time he has been working in government. And if you're accusing President Weah of anything, you should be coming up with the fact to say, oh yes, I'm accusing this president with this. This is the fact. This is the people audited President Weah government, like what Molu did to Unity Party government. He audited the government and he came up with a report to say, oh yes, this only was supported by the international community. And they said, Joe, we have took money in various houses. These are the things for me I want to see in the election. I don't want anything to call fighting or lie. Let's be sincere. Look, I can name more than 7 different reasons why President Weah should be re-elected on this platform. If you want me to do that, I can tell you. But when our friends come to the disco, the only thing they will say is Liberian people suffering. So we are not getting leadership ability. You think I want Liberian people? You got to come and tell Liberian people what you think our father Joe Boga can do after so many years in government, that even when you were vice president, what I was saying that even was able to buy half the cement to even cash that place. You need to come and tell us that this man was in CPP. Under his leadership, CPP broke. President Weah leading a 3 political party. You were here on the very platform when Chairman Bani came on this platform as a speaker. Chairman Bani has signed the document that bound us together.
Okay.
Even Speaker Tower. These are the things we are saying.
Okay.
You get common 3 political parties. You want to manage 3 political parties, and you coming to us telling us that this man has leadership ability. You want to manage Liberia.
Thank you, Chief.
Are
Thank you.
Joking?
Thank you so much. Another caller. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. You're live.
Yeah, this is Lloyd D. Johnson, Bishop and Loyalty, and I join you from District Number 11.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lord.
Thank you. You know, I hear people saying that they want to make George Weah one-term president. They are in a dream world. No, dreams can come 2 ways, either negative or positive. And I know that that's a negative part of the dream that they have, and they need to go back to bed, sleep, and have the dream of reality. Because I'm not sure that it will come to reality. Because for we physicians now, we are tested. We are tested to vote. We can't even wait for October because with the mindset that they're having, that they want to make Joe Weah.
Because you're not taste the honey now, eh?
Well, the fact of the matter that the mindset they care that they want to make Joe Weah voted. So if we will sit down, like for me in my house where I live, I got 2 picking the first time voter. I gave him a chance. I was able to carry them. They go up a petition. I gave him a chance and on the do a registration. I make sure they be in front of me. I be behind them. I will not give them a chance because we look. Hello.
Quickly, others are on the line.
Thank you. Because we'll see to it that this particular president, the thing you want to make him one-term president, we are on a few of play. We are on a few of play waiting for you. When you're not even, our Jesse, 4 times really. When you're not even get capped, you even get tested, they want to make someone one-term president.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Okay, thank you. Let me say good evening. Thank you for taking me. My name is Kewu S. Hassan. And I join you from Electoral District 11, Upper Kawe. Let me appreciate you this evening for your talking point. You know, and I listened to a lot of your callers, and some of them make a certain point, like Emmanuel.
Please make yours.
Yeah, let me make mine in 1 minute time. Okay, somebody asked the question, what Joseph Bola has done for this country? You know, I always tell my colleagues, even in the media and other media space, that this old man served this country for 42 years. If you take the records, Joseph Bola served this country with distinction. Joseph Bola served this country with love of country.
The question is, what do you bring to the table from the opposition community? It's not just about Joseph Boakai.
I'm coming to that because somebody asked the questions what he has done for Liberia. So I just want to reference and make some checkpoint there. Okay, now we come to the table with a lot of things and package. One thing, Joseph Bola, we have a manifesto, the angle of the Unity Party, right? And Joseph Brother is coming with this platform. We will present it. In subsequent time, we announce our running mate and we tell the Labrampo what we think we can do. One of the things we got in the package, is inclusion. 2, we're talking about good governance. 3, we're talking about the rules of law. And 4, we talk about agriculture. And 5, we talk about road connectivity. These are things we got in package.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is DJ Lomez.
DJ Lomez, thanks for joining us tonight. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You know, when I listen to people around what Baka have done, and let's get it clear. Baka served in government for 25 years. He's now 45 years. So when I hear people talking about 45 years, this and that, then it takes me back to ask them how long President we are serving government, because President we are working with Telecom as a switchboard operator.
Mm-hmm.
So
that I know.
So if you want to put all that year from there all to return, so he over 30 years or over 40 years too. So if you say you are in the war, everything that Honorable Bwaka has said, he told you the amount of time he stayed in government, he served in government for 25 years. And this 25 years, there's no criminal record. You came around, you say, Amos sacked the man for corruption. But before Amos could die, he went and made it clear to the OKSM that he dismissed the man because that was John government at that time. And certain person wanted that LPRC position as a slot. So they have to give it to the person. So if we come on and high America and other places can elect the leader, they go on the performance about how you perform in government. That from there they can appoint you in government or put you in opposition. Your record will show. For me, I am saying the opposition, like people say opposition not serious enough together. So you mean when coming and John before the opposition will come together, I say no, let everybody go on their own because everybody got an ego that they can make it. Second round, we all come together as an opposition. Like same with President we are 2017. When Prince Johnson had that thing, they say, oh, they should go to Nima. Why can't Prince Johnson say running President we are saying running? But the second round, everybody join with President we are to get the Unity Party to go all of the way because we said our corruption. It was 2 weeks. Unity Party government was corrupt. Me and Moya support Bwaka, but I must say the truth. Unity Party government was very corrupt. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. DJ Lomez, good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I said Lawrence Spencer.
No. My name is Sheikh Biggin Junior. I joined from Lawrence.
Go ahead, Sheikh.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your tireless effort towards our Mama Labira. Anyway, our grandma Labira, because she passed the age of people, man.
Our great grandma said about.
Yeah, great grandma. Yeah, you know, first of all, I would like to start by saying this. You know, Ambassador Bwaka, people are questioning the leadership ability of Ambassador Bwaka. Why I would first of all say, in the past government, they're saying that the man didn't do anything as vice president. Something that the man did, yeah. I mean, everybody can attest to it, they can see it, and they can feel it. Today, when you have the Japan freeway, my enemy was as president, Joseph Bwaka as vice president. Even in central bank today that the people are talking about, my enemy as president, Joseph Bwaka as vice president. You talk about the Conway road, you talk about the first ever for road to reach Better Yala. Joseph Bwaka was vice president. Okay, let's leave that. Because there too much that I will not be able to name all. But I would like to say this to you. Joseph Bwaka is talking about road, right? Joseph, the road that George Weah is constructing now, it is not the kind of road that the country needs. You cannot construct substandard road.
You're not benefiting from the road?
Hello?
You're not benefiting from the road?
Chief, you know what I'm saying here? Let me just say this to you. Not a matter of benefiting from the road. You cannot use taxpayer money to construct road and say at least. What is not done properly, it is not done at all. That road, all the road that George Weah is Sony, the video road that is Sony here today. Now I will point a few, even if Abu Bana Kamara area there, looking at Broad Street, the road that was just constructed. You have pool. Let me just say, there's swimming pool that ain't from Abu Bana Kamara. That place is poor totally.
So what can you say about Cowell Road?
Where?
Cowell Road, that ship can pass there or what thing?
Cowell Road? What happened to Cowell Road?
Hey, my man, don't.
Ain't you talking about DV Joshua there?
Only the
And,
junction.
and you're talking about diesel junction. I know the diesel junction. All of what I saw road. Then the diesel junction, there was certain pipe was under there. Water line was under there. I was always put. Hello.
So not substandard too. Okay, just go ahead quickly. We got others on the line.
Okay. So not everyone also do it that way. I got more than 150 million my phone. Now that we can do it. The entire show, I will take it.
No, then you can take my number, call me, and then we'll find time for you to appear on the show.
Okay. No, I beg you. Let me conclude.
Yeah, go
then
ahead.
Okay. Then if you come to Simaco Road right here, then you will see that Simaco Road is totally finished. Then when Jonah Boga takes over it by the grace of God October, then you will see that they will use another gold taxpayer money to start reconstructing the road.
Okay.
Something that we don't want when you build the road. That would be something.
Thank you, boss.
Quality road, at least it will last for years.
Thank you. You went long.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Well, maybe some people don't understand the question. 1 minute, please. I know I'll come back to you. You're still on the line. The question is, what are you bringing to the table from the opposition community that you will use to convince the people? This is my second to the last caller. Good evening. Thank you for being patient. Go ahead.
My name is Albert Kemoka. I'm in Conway this evening. My brother, we're talking about road that in less than 3 weeks, a box, water setting inside, you can dig up for water from there. You know when they put the Conway road here? Every road that you build should be maintained. They road was put here 2013. And it stay here. All jobs we are road in Porto Simaco, Jella Cracker Biscuit. Everything broke. Go right to the place here of special shop way there. When real rain fall, you can bathe in that place, web your skin and all and jump from there. It's a swimming pool. So, we are telling people that being a vice president, it is a silent position. Remember, for you to be a vice president, you can assist, but you can't insist, you can't resist. Joe Howard Taylor, they play what Joe Howard Taylor came from the other day. I was listening to news. There's a school that there. Only 2 teachers controlling that school. In fact, there's no roof on top of that school. She's vice president. What is she doing? So to tell you that the work of the vice president is there to assist, not to insist, not to resist. So if people feel that the vice president, say Joe Howard Taylor, that's the Banga Broad Street, the people even having complaint on the government that president, we are promised, you're not doing anything with the road. Why Joe Howard Taylor can carry people there and go build the road? So we are telling people that, president, we have never promised nobody anything. Joseph Banga told us road. So he politically, president, we are politically stole away the idea of Mr. Banga. And you're not doing it the right way. You're putting cream cracker basically on the place there. Okay. You say Bailey Road. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will take our final caller before going home. Well, I just thought to have asked that question. What do you bring to the table from the opposition community? My final caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel Davis.
Yes, sir. You have to walk away from that radio, please.
I'm there, okay?
Okay, yes, sir. What's your name and where do you come from? Is it Mr. Emmanuel Tete?
Yeah, this is Mr. Emmanuel Tete.
Go ahead, Chief.
I'm calling from the Banana Building. Emmanuel, you asked a very brilliant questions and you need an answer because trust me, Emmanuel, if we have the answer for this question, just ask. Libra is 170 plus years right now, right? I think Libra should be better than what it is right now because there is no answer to that particular question you are asking on the radio. I listen to a lot of callers, Emmanuel David, a lot of callers saying a lot of things, but trust me, if you keep putting wine in your own bottle, you always get the same result. The old wine, you just change the bottle and put the old wine in it, the same result going to come out. There's no different result going to come out, Emmanuel. You know me, I stand for the truth and I speak truth to power, but trust me, Emmanuel, I'm not supporting the government anyway. On a serious note, I'm angry with the government because the way Emmanuel from, they are running this country. I'm really angry with President we are. But trust me, these guys are the same old people, Emmanuel.
Okay.
They're the same old people. There are going to be no changes. Trust me, we're going to be crying here again as we're doing now. We're going to be crying in time to come. It's going to be the same old thing. The only thing I can say to anybody, just need to pray for God's direction. Because trust me, these guys are the same. They are the same old wine. They just be putting a new bottle, but they are the same old wine. May
Okay.
God bless my brother and save his stick, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, our final caller, meaning we have to go home on this edition of the program. More calls still coming in. We sincerely apologize because we have to do some technical works very shortly before the news. Many thanks for calling. Many thanks for participating. You know, usually when you are not listening, then there is no need to be here. When you are not watching, then there is no need to be here. But you are always there making this to happen. My name is Emmanuel. David Sekou Sharif was here. We hope that on tomorrow we will get our letter and our findings or whatever from PUL. But actually, PUL, you did a disservice to us. You did not treat us well. We are journalists, practicing journalists in Liberia. We are full members of the Press Union of Liberia. We have the voting power, we have the voting rights, and we can also be voted for at the level of the PUL. PUL is a small body. Almost everybody there, we know each other. So the way you're treated all today is not correct. Please, Mr. Charles Coffey, you err. I'm hoping that you can muster the courage and apologize to the voice of Liberia. We will take your apology, but it is very important that you do that because you can serve a communication to Ali Kobasi and fail to serve us that same communication that should only be shared with two institutions, the BMC boss and Voice of Liberia. But you had to do it the way you did it. For what reason, I don't know. It has surfaced on Facebook, on social media. People are discussing it now. You call it a confidential or a private document. You did not treat us well. This is not called for in a society like this. There is a Liberia beyond today. There is a PUL, or there are people beyond PUL. The people at the level of PUL, journalists practicing in Liberia, make up PUL. So please, Mr. Charles Coffey, you and your secretariat,